This episode of the podcast is brought to you by Shirts for the Scene. Head over to the popkoproject.com and you can purchase your favorite band t-shirt today. We are raising money for the local artist in northeastern Pennsylvania whose income was drastically affected by COVID-19 in 2020. And although we're in a new year, bands will continue to struggle to perform like they once did. So grab a shirt, support a band. The proceeds of each sale go right to the bands whose shirt you are buying. Once again, head over to thepopkoproject.com and grab your shirt today. Shirts for the Scene is made possible by Axelrad Screen Printing. Visit them today at axelradarmy.com. My guest today served as an intern for The Weekender in 2007 before being hired full-time as the sales rep later on that year. For those of you who don't know, The Weekender back in the day was the Bible when it came to arts and entertainment in northeastern Pennsylvania. Sadly, she only stuck around for about 10 months, but she still left a mark. We talk about her time at The Weekender, her most embarrassing moment while she was there, her current position as the Associate Director of Annual Giving at the University of Scranton, the nonprofit that she, her husband, and their friends started called Fight for Vets to help veterans, and more. This is The Weekender Files. Welcome to the show, Bridget Chomko. Live. We can talk now. Bridget Chomko, or as how I knew you, Bridget O'Connor back in the day.
Back in, like you just said, like a lot back, like 14 years ago. That's insane.
14 years ago. Yeah.
Was it 06 or was it? Oh, I think I interned at The Weekender in 07.
Yeah, it was spring of 2007.
Yeah, because it was right before I graduated college.
Yeah. Well, welcome to the show. Welcome to the Weekender Files.
Yeah, I was so excited when you messaged me that you were doing, like, I thought you were going to do it. You were going to have everybody on all at once.
That would be chaos.
That would just be insanity. Yeah. So
absolute chaos.
But they've all been awesome. I watched the one with Jim, right? Jim McDonald.
Yeah, he was just on.
Yeah, I watched that one today while I was waiting for my dog at the vet, and I had never met him. I feel like he could do like a TED talk. Like he was really good.
Yeah, he's a smart guy. He was very elusive too. Like he was. I think I met him like once or twice.
Yeah. Throughout my 9 years there.
But
yeah, I don't think I definitely never met him. But the one thing he said that I was like that he, when you guys were talking about like news and stuff, like. How he said like the news they make bias their business, and I was like, that is really good. Like they're in the business of bias. It's just It's crazy.
It sucks though, having to fact check the news.
Yeah,
almost.
Yeah.
So thanks for doing this. I do appreciate it.
Yeah, they've all been awesome so far. So
thank you. Yeah, it's been a lot of fun. I mean. I am losing my memory as far as like what happened when and
same.
So and lots happened since you said you were an intern in 2007.
Mm-hmm.
Why don't we start there? You were in college. You went to Wilkes University.
Mm-hmm.
How did you land an internship at The Weekender?
I honestly don't even know.
I'm sure Sharon Castano has.
I was just going to say Sharon. She probably. So I had done the year prior, I did an internship at the Lion Brewery, and that was my junior year. And then I ended up working at the Lion Brewery after I graduated, and then I interned at the Weekender the following year, and then I ended up working at the Weekender right after the Lion Brewery. So it was just like everything kind of came full circle. I really don't know. And I think you were my boss as an intern too, weren't you?
Boss.
It was me, Carmen Winters,
yep,
Sean Eicher.
Yep, the three of you.
Yeah, that was really fun. And it's funny, I know in the podcast with Christy, she, like you were saying, like you were the only guy intern, or like there wasn't many guys that were doing that. So I think it was fun for me and Carm and Sean to be interns and have you as our boss.
Yeah, I hope that I like gave you some kind of knowledge.
I came and worked there, so I mean,
I'm doing something right now. Yeah, and I keep saying like Sean's doing very well, Carmen's doing very well, you're doing well. I mean, like it's either me, maybe the University of Scranton, or maybe the three of you just had really great parents. great people in general, right?
Yeah, I ran into Carmen at my son was still like a baby, and he's almost 3. And Carmen's son was little too. We at the aquarium at Steamtown, him and his wife. And that was probably the first time I've seen him in 10 years.
This is the first time I've seen you since probably the Weekender days. I remember
I saw you at the Times building
yes,
my husband
right.
and I run a nonprofit along with a couple other people, and we were doing something for our nonprofit at the Times building, maybe with Rock 107 with
Yes,
Dave.
I forgot about that. Yes, I did see you, I guess, a little more recently.
That was still a couple years ago.
Yeah, and then I saw you on the street one time just walking randomly, like on the square.
Yeah, in Scranton, right?
Yeah, I was
my
grabbing
office
lunch.
so I work at the U,
Right.
but my office is downtown. It's across from where Farley's used to be, which now it's City Market, but nobody really knows City Market. I mean, at least people our age. Then younger people don't know Farley's.
Yeah.
Sorry, my dog is crying in the background.
Oh, that's your dog? I'm like, uh-oh, baby's up.
No, I had her at the vet today, animal problems. So.
Oh, no. It's always something, right?
Yeah.
Life. So you did an internship at the Weekender. I was your boss.
Yep.
It's weird to think about because like we're not that far in age, right?
I don't think so.
At that point in my life, I was like still like getting after it. I should have not been anyone's boss. But they kept sending me interns from Wilkes. It was great.
Yeah, I mean, I don't really remember you like being bossy. It's like rather than more. So
I was hungover most of the time, probably.
Just kind of telling us what to do, and I think we had to do like the model and the man of the week pictures and stuff.
Yeah, thank God for you guys because I was like over that at that point.
With the one single digital camera that the Weekender owned and shared, like
yes,
it's crazy to think how different it is now. And I also remember we always had to check the that hotline or whatever. Was there like a question of the week that people would have to call and answer? What was that?
Well, there was the tell us section, but that wasn't a call-in thing. There was a book of the week at one point. I don't remember what that was.
Was it like a trivia question or something? I don't know. I just remember like crazy people calling in, like not answering the question and just like kind of like probably like Talkback 16, like all the crazies see a number to call and leave a message.
We should have took more advantage of that hotline. I don't know how we would have, got the recording of it, but we should have done that. Because I mean, Talkback 16 is a riot. I mean, that's the best part of the news.
Oh, absolutely.
It's like the funniest thing and also the saddest thing at the same time. I think my goal in life is just to get to the point where I can, watch the news and call and complain about it. and not be educated about what I'm talking about.
Oh, that's like the requirement for Talkback 16. I think that's the only ones they put on.
Yeah. Oh man, what a riot.
But
yeah, so I mean, like as an intern, it was the winter time. So it was like your spring semester, right?
Mm-hmm.
I guess it would be. And then you finished up in probably, I don't know, was it winter or spring? I can't remember. So this is why I'm doing this.
So when was Reader's Choice? Because I know I was there for that.
April.
So it was definitely the spring semester then.
So we there for 2 Reader's Choice then? Because you were a short timer. So you were an intern in 2007, and then you were hired full-time in December of 2007, but you only stuck around until September of 2008.
Yeah.
So like most people at the Weekender, short timer, took advantage of the 8 months that you were there, or 9 months rather, maybe. And then you went off somewhere else. But talk a little bit about what the Weekender was to you. It could be as an intern or, full-time. And because I think it was different for everyone, but I think it was also the same.
Yeah, I mean, I think, and ever since you asked me to do this, I've been thinking about my time there. And like we were talking about before you started recording, like, I don't remember everything. Like I found some old ads and I'm like, where were these businesses? Like, I don't even remember being at these places, and they were my accounts, and I was thinking about it and I'm like, I'm pretty sure I was the only person that wasn't from like down near Wilkes-Barre. And that's probably why I had the Scranton territory when I got hired.
Yeah, I think Janelle left.
Janelle was there, but she took a different territory. She took like Wilkes-Barre because Janelle and I were there at the same time.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, because you used to sit where Tiffany sat, which was next to me, right?
Yes. Yeah.
Right. Okay, now it's coming together.
Yeah. Did Katie leave and Janelle took her?
Well, Katie left in the spring, summer of 07, so I took over her territory.
Oh, okay.
So you must have taken over Tiffany's territory, which is like Wilkes-Barre, Pittston, kind of. I think.
No, I had Scranton.
You had Scranton. I don't remember.
Yeah. So I think Janelle took over.
Oh, right. I'm sorry. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Then she left though.
Yeah. I must have left not too long after her either, or maybe a couple months. I mean, had to be within a couple months. I was only there for, 9-10 months.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I just remember like seriously a lifetime ago, like I don't even know what bars are around anymore. Like, and at that time in our lives, that was our job, like going out to bars and doing these promotions. And I actually, in the insert that I found, it's a parade day insert, with all the ads around it. And on the back, I looked at it and I was like, oh my gosh, there's like, at the time I didn't know these people. And I'm looking and it's like, look what you missed from Fuse, which I was like, where the heck was Fuse?
Downtown Wilkes-Barre, like in the Midtown Village, like across from where Katana was.
Oh, okay.
Kind of.
Okay, yeah. That was a couple different things, I think, wasn't it?
It was Fuse, and I think that bar, and I talked about this with Mike Lello, that bar was like a really cool, hip bar, but I think it was like ahead of its time. And after that, it was Luna. Lorenzo Medico. Yeah. Lorenzo Medico, and I want to say his name was Patrick. I forget his last name. They opened up something after that. Yeah. So what'd you find?
So anyway, it's a look what you missed from Wednesday, March 12th, 2008. So It was the parade day insert.
Oh, wow.
With all the Scranton bars. But the look what you missed, which I'm talking about, there's a picture of Tom Graham in it, which I did not know him at the time. I'm like 90% sure that's him right there.
I think so, yeah.
And then who else was in this? I don't think there was anybody else in the photos that I knew. Oh, Tiffany Muscali, she's in it. And then the air guitar contest, I was like, oh my gosh, the judges, like Edwin from Picture Perfect, like he was my wedding band. And I'm like, I didn't know him then. And he was so there's the air guitar contest.
I remember that, yeah.
I remember that promotion. And it's like, there was a lot of people that did that, like just came and played an air guitar.
You think about it now, it's like, why would people do that?
So the grand prize was a $500 gift certificate to 570 Tattooing in a 2-night stay in Boston. So that was a pretty good prize.
2-night stay in Boston. Was that for St. Patty's Day?
Yeah. So it was
probably through Paulson Tours, right?
Yep, it was. Yep.
I was on that trip. Yeah.
Yeah, and wow. I remember like being super excited for parade day too when I worked there, because like I was the Scranton rep, and like everything in downtown Scranton, like Tinks was my account, and it was just fun I remember we got up in the morning, and I don't even remember who was with us, but we went to like Kildare's, and then we went to Tinks, and we went to all the accounts that were on this little map, and half of them aren't even opened anymore. Like obviously Tinks, that's whatever it is now.
Levels.
Okay. I've never been to it as Levels. Have you?
No. I haven't been out to like a mainstream bar in, I don't know how long.
Oh yeah. I mean, definitely with kids and everything, it's insane, but
yeah.
Molly Brannigan's, that's closed.
Molly Brannigan's, was that part of, that was like hard? No,
that was on Lackawanna Ave. It was like attached to the parking garage.
Oh yes. Okay.
It's where
yeah. Where that Bartari is now.
Bartari is now.
Yes.
Yeah, it's just like all these places. Like, why is the Diamond Club on a parade day ad?
Yo, man, you know what? After parade day, you gotta hit up the Diamond Club.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. So I'm glad you mentioned that. As an intern, did you ever think you'd be part of a product that was, required you to attend adult clubs?
No,
for
I don't think
promotions?
so. I probably didn't share that one with my parents. Like, hey, my internship, I have to go to a strip club. I don't even really specifically remember
I,
being there for like events or anything though, to be honest.
I vaguely remember we were at G Club 10. It was me, you, Sean, Carmen, I believe, for something. What was cool about that place though is like we were working, right? So we weren't like it wasn't like we were sitting around watching, girls dance and throwing money at the by any means. We were just there. But yeah,
Was it
that's
a
always
like did we do a promotion there? Like
we
what type
must have.
of
It was at
what
night.
were we doing there?
I have no idea. TJ was there, my friend TJ. I don't we were all hanging out there.
Yeah,
But that
I
was
don't
also a place where we would go just to hang out. It was weird. It was like we people would go there to hang out because it wasn't presented as this like, a lot of strip clubs are seen as like this like, sketchy, like dirty, grimy places. That was a place people would go to like after the bars closed just to go hang out. It was weird.
yeah,
Not
that was
weird,
probably that might have been the internship time might have been the only time I
probably.
was ever there. Because I honestly don't really remember it.
I don't remember it. Maybe I could be wrong too. I could be very wrong. I don't remember. But yeah, so back to the map. Yeah,
Oh
Dinosaur's in
yeah.
there.
Anyway, so who else is on a brick house? That was Iran's, which is no longer opened either, right?
No, the
Brick
brick
house.
house is open.
Oh, it is?
In DuPont?
Yeah, I thought that was where Iran's used to be.
No, Arantz was on Main Street in
Oh,
Dury, I
okay.
think.
Um, the bog, which at the time, like I remember dealing with Brian, and then like after the week, obviously after 14 years later, I ended up getting to know him a little bit just because my husband is good friends with the guys from Loyalty, and we'd go to like their Christmas parties at the bog, and now thinking back, it's like you didn't even realize. I mean, I'm sure you knew Brian, right,
Yeah,
from the bog.
yeah,
Just horrible.
yeah. It was a big loss to the community. I remember I was doing an event down in Wilkes-Barre at Carl Hall when I found out that he had passed, and I was hosting the show, and I was a mess. I was a mess. I was in
Yeah.
the back. I was in the green room crying, and like I didn't know him well enough to be like to feel like I lost a friend. I just knew what a person he was like in the community, and like he
Yeah.
was also a father. So like I'm looking at it as me being a father, and so like his son lost an amazing man, and then like his wife, he was married too, so his wife lost an amazing man. He was just a stellar human being.
Yeah, I didn't know him well either.
He didn't have to.
But
Like he just knew he was a good
yeah,
guy.
like he was one of those people. Like if you met him, you just knew he was like a good person. So,
And that was a big loss for this area.
oh,
And
definitely.
people are still feeling that to this day for sure.
Yeah.
I almost started to be an apprentice with him at Loyalty Barbershop
Oh,
because
really?
yeah, in 2016.
So was that the
Um,
Scranton one?
yeah, yeah,
Okay.
because we were both going to start at the same time, and I don't know what happened with me. Like, it would have been an amazing opportunity, but I really wanted to do it, but I also like I couldn't not make money for the length of the apprenticeship, right? So I
Yeah.
was like, I can't do that. I can't do it. So I passed up on it. But he
Yeah.
was.
Yeah. Well, like I said, my husband's good friends with Jim and like Jim and Brian were at our wedding.
Oh, really? Wow.
Yeah. So yeah, they're just all that whole group of people. They're just all really good people.
Yeah, Jim is
Shout out
my
to
barber.
Loyalty.
Yeah, Jim is my barber. I'm going there tomorrow.
Brian just cut our son's hair. He was like a little weepy getting his hair cut. He doesn't like the buzzers. So
Oh, really?
yeah.
I took my son once there to get his hair cut. He's a little fidgety. He did all right, but
Yeah.
yeah, I only took him once. He's not. I don't think he's ready for that yet. I don't know why, but yeah.
Yeah. I didn't even go in this last time because I get two. I'm just go. Actually, so this is completely off topic, but his hair got super long because my husband and I both had COVID.
Really?
Yeah, the end of December.
Oh, wow.
So yeah, I mean, thank God we didn't have it too bad. So my husband's a funeral director, and this whole past 10 months he's been in and out of hospitals, nursing homes. So I was like, just assuming, I'm like, we're definitely going to get it. And I'm like, well, 10 months, we finally got it. So he lost his taste and smell, and we're like, well, this is it. And I was like terrified. I'm like, oh my God, I'm going to get it. The baby's going to get it. And luckily, he lost his taste and smell, was tired and everything. And then a few days later, I didn't have any symptoms, but got tested and I had it. And then a few days later, I lost my taste and smell. Just like really bad headaches for a few days. And other than that, I think we were, really fortunate that we didn't get it too bad. So
yeah, no kidding. And do you think he got it from just being around?
I don't know. I mean, he could have got it at Home Depot,
Yeah.
We don't know.
It's so weird how this travels too. Cause like my sister-in-law who lives in LA or California, I don't know what part of California, but she had it. She tested positive, but her daughter who lives with her didn't.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it's just weird.
Yeah. Yeah. And I mean, our son didn't really he had a runny nose the one day, and that was all that was really wrong with him. But the doctor said, like, he just assumed that he had it too.
Right.
So, but now I'm just like, okay, well, I'm fortunate or like happy that we, didn't have it too bad, and now we're over it. And now, like, supposedly you have a little bit of immunity for a little while,
right?
Before we can get the vaccine. So hopefully we won't get it again, because
yeah, no kidding. Yeah, I can't imagine. I've been fortunate, and I was working from home for 2 months, but we've been back in the office since June, and luckily, like, my office is pretty spread out. No,
are you still at Rock 107?
Well, today is the 21st, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because by the time this is posted, it'll be posted on the 27th.
Okay.
So by the time this goes live, I will be at Time Shamrock for 2 days. My last day there is the 29th.
Oh, okay. Are you leaving or going somewhere else?
Yeah. I accepted a job with Axelrad Screen Printing as their director of operations, marketing, and sales. Cool. So it's exciting.
That's who you're working with to do like the shirt printing stuff for the fundraising stuff. Cool.
Yes.
That's really cool.
Yeah. It's Dave, one of the owners there, he and I have talked for like 11 years. I think it's been, we've talked about working together, or me working for him. And I wasn't looking, they're expanding. They just bought a new building. They're moving into, still in Wilkes-Barre, across from Hollenbach Golf Course. And he needs somebody, and, he's just making moves, and he's like, let's do it. And I'm like, okay. And it was really perfect timing. And I'm excited for this for a bunch of different reasons. And one, because it happened organically. And I like when that stuff happens. And like, my radio show that I was doing got put on hiatus, so to speak. And so I had nothing that could really hold me back at the station anymore. So it all just, here, I have a cat here. Okay. There has a dog and I have a cat. Come on.
Oh.
Be in it.
What's that cat's name?
This cat's name is Mooch. And actually, it was around 6 years ago to the day that we rescued this cat from outside.
So this is really weird. I feel like I remember your last cat. It was Chevis?
Chevis.
Yes. I remember that for some random reason. I can't remember anything, and I remember your cat's name.
He's still alive.
Really? How old is he?
Oh, he's 2004. He'll be 17 in June, July.
You still have him?
Yeah, he's been diabetic for 9 years.
So do you have like insulin dependent?
Insulin shots twice a day.
Oh,
my vet is like, I don't know how that cat is still alive.
Oh my! I can't believe I remember the cat's name, to be honest.
I don't even know how you would remember that cat's name.
No idea.
That's funny.
No idea. You really must have liked your cat if you talked. I definitely never met it.
Right. Yeah. I mean, I do love the cat. I mean, it's very sentimental to me because the reason I have the cat is because one of my best friend's dad passed away, and the cat had kittens right before his dad passed, and he was in state college at school, and like he had these cats, and he's like, I can't take him to school with me, so I took one, and that's the cat that I took. He's still alive since 2004. So yeah, there's a lot of I'm not going to say I want him to go on, but I mean, he's a mess. He's messy.
That's what my one dog that was at the vet today is like that too.
I mean, I hope that he's like in good shape, like as far as like, not in pain, but I mean, every time I see him, he's mostly either flipping his water bowl over and making me mad, or making a mess in the litter box, or just sleeping. So I assume he's okay, but what are you gonna do?
So you haven't been working from home throughout the whole pandemic then? You've been back in the office?
Yeah, we were back in the office back in June, so it's been 6 months. But wearing the masks and social distancing, like I had my own office there, so it wasn't, I'm never with people very long. But yeah, so my wife has not been, exposed. What's wrong with your dog? What happened?
Oh my gosh. So she has arthritis. So that's her, so she's on pain medicine, but when she lays down for a long time, I probably should have put her downstairs because this might go on for a while. But she has arthritis. And then today she went to the vet because she's starting to lose weight. And she's 10 years old. She's a boxer. So they don't we had another boxer who passed away last year. He was 14. And she's just she got feeble. I feel bad. She's slow. But this morning she had pooped in the house. So I was all right, something's wrong. Gotta take her to the vet. And that's a very weird thing about COVID. I lost my taste and smell and it's back, but I could not smell dog poop cleaning it up this morning. So I guess it's not fully back yet.
Well, that's good, right?
Yeah. Super random. Yeah. My husband's you can't smell poop or farts. That's great.
That'd be a big bummer for me. I love to share my farts with my wife. She doesn't appreciate it. But I'm actually better now because we're on this Mediterranean diet and we're trying to eat better. So I smell much better than usual.
From the diet?
I guess I'm not eating garbage food and destroying my stomach.
Yeah.
So it makes her happy. I'm not, dropping bombs in the house.
Yeah. So, back to the Weekender, this map is just...
Was there an ad for Fixture on the back of that? Can you show that? I think I saw that.
Yeah, that's on the Wilkes. Oh, yeah. No, it is.
Fixture, April 3rd, Lewis and Clark. Can you go up a little bit? Okay, that was a fuse. Mike and I were talking about that.
What was Fixture? I don't remember that.
So it was a original music series that Mike put together. He wanted to do it. He saw things happening at the bog with this indie scene. So he didn't want to do it there. He wanted to kind of bring that to Wilkes-Barre. That's why it was down at Fuse. Yeah, I think that's how it worked. But it was just this it's underground indie rock monthly thing we did.
Yeah, that's another thing. I don't think I ever went to one of those.
Bridget, how dare you?
And if I did, I do not remember.
How dare you? Did you go to anything? Your full...
I definitely did. So one of the things when you first asked me to do this, I was trying to think of funny things that happened. And it's really hard to think of one specific thing. But one thing, and I've talked about this to people before, probably one of the stupidest things I've ever said and the most embarrassing things that I've ever done in my life was at a Weekender event. And when I tell you this, you're probably going to remember because you're going to be oh my gosh, you were so stupid.
I can't wait. I cannot wait.
It was at one of the Reader's Choice. I think it was when I was an intern still. I don't think it was when I was working there. And it was at a bar on River Street down in Wilkes-Barre.
River Street Ale House. R.I.P. Okay. No longer there. It's some weirdo church thingy.
Oh, I haven't been down that way in forever. Especially with the pandemic, I haven't been anywhere. But anyway,
it flooded in 2011. It flooded in 2011, and then they never opened that back up. So, but it was Reader's Choice, and definitely was when I was an intern because I remember Sean and Carmen being there with us, and everybody took turns reading the winners of different categories. This is coming back to me. It's coming back to me. I don't remember the thing exactly, but yes, go.
And I was reading the adult categories, which, okay, that's great. So I get to one and like I'm nervous. I'm in front of tons of people. Like there were so many
Yeah,
people
it was
there that came to
jammed.
Reader's Choice. And I'm on a microphone and I get to the category and I just read it quickly. And after I read it, I immediately want to like crawl out of my skin, throw up, cry all at the same time. The category was, I'll just say it how I said it. I said best lingerie,
Oh,
best
yes.
lingerie.
Yes.
And
Best lingering.
everybody
Yep.
was like dying laughing. Like I couldn't even correct myself. I just sounded like a complete idiot. But that was definitely one of the things, like even I still talk about that, like one of the dumbest things I've ever said. But you're so nervous and you're just reading right off of
Yeah,
what you're saying.
it had
So
nothing to do with, your knowledge. Just,
how
that's,
to read.
I think that's one good thing about the weekender. And I know, for me as an intern too, it forced me to do things that I never would have done. Um, and we're talking about being on a stage and being in front of hundreds of people. Like
Yeah,
that's nerve wracking.
definitely. Yeah, that was definitely and I'm sure there was other things. I think we had to announce bands at Concert for a Cause. Like I remember
Yep.
being super nervous to do that and up in front of people too. And I'm sure there was other stuff. So yeah, I definitely remember being at events, some
I'm
events
still
at
nervous to
least.
this day doing that stuff. And I've done it 1,000 times. I'm nervous too.
Yeah, I luckily in my job now, I don't really have to do that anymore. So
Well, that's a good
which is
segue.
good.
What do you do now?
So I work at the University of Scranton. I've been there for going on 9 years now.
Wow.
In fundraising. So I work in annual giving. So I like all the annoying solicitations that you get from your college. Like I write a lot of those. I do a lot of work on like our Day of Giving, which is in May, like our Giving Tuesday campaign. Doing a lot of like emails out to alumni, like designing email, writing the content for it. But really like a lot of it, what I really like the most is, and a lot of people don't know this about fundraising, let alone the University of Scranton, but like there's a lot of programs that really benefit Scranton, like the city in general. One of the programs that I work on, Business High School Scholars, that like that started, we started fundraising for it a year back, and we've raised like over $150,000 for the program, and it allows local high school students to come to the university and take classes completely free of charge. So any students from Lackawanna County, from Luzerne County, from Susquehanna County, we've had students from all over the area come through it, and it's just a really great program. And that's just one of the things that makes fundraising sounds like a boring job sometimes. I think like when I tell people that, it's like, oh, that doesn't sound too interesting. But there's programs that we fundraise to for education students to volunteer at the housing projects for an after school program where kids get food and snacks and help with homework. So you fundraise for these things, but then you go and actually see it in action. It's definitely, it definitely makes it worthwhile.
Rewarding.
Yeah.
That's good.
So, I mean, there's a lot of other stuff, but they're just two that stand out that,
Right.
are fun to talk about.
I feel like Tiffany also is in some kind of.
Yeah. So we had talked a couple times about, I know I don't know where she's in development, or is she?
It's for a program in Pittsburgh, but she works remotely, I think.
Yeah. So we had talked because she had just moved back to the area, like within the past year or two, maybe, right?
Yeah. Yep.
And she had been messaging me. We had been talking a little bit about development on LinkedIn. Like we were talking, I think we were messaging on LinkedIn about development. So, and I didn't finish her podcast. There was a couple that I didn't finish because, with like your son and trying to do bedtime. And
how dare you not finish?
Didn't finish all of them. But I'm gonna get there.
I'm kidding. I mean, I appreciate anyone who listens to 5 minutes of this.
I know. Yeah. And I'm like, what am I going to talk about? Like, I'm not like, who's going to want to hear me talk anyway? Like,
it's not, you know what? Everyone says that, right? And like, I have like 5 listeners, right? It's not for everyone. I'm hoping that like this is a good time for you, and it's definitely something that I'm enjoying immensely. Every time I do these, it's like it's funny too, because I'll wake up and think about what I have to do for the day. It's like, work, and I gotta talk to Bridget tonight. I'm like, oh God. No, but like once I start doing it, I'm like, this is exactly what I want to be doing, and it's so much fun. And like again, I haven't talked to you or really spent time with you since the weekender, so it's like it's cool to catch up. And I mean, people,
You good?
light just
Lost
burnt
power?
out. Yeah, light just.
Worse.
I was wondering why like this shit was dimming before, but it was such a great moment in my life, and I think it's also a great moment in anyone who was there. And people who knew what it was, I think, really appreciated what it was too. So it's like, if people like it, great. If not, that's fine too. I hope it's more for me and you and whoever is a guest on it. And if not, then that's fine too. I don't know.
Yeah, I think like everybody, I think that worked at the Weekender can agree, like you're never going to have a job like that again. I mean, even the whole industry, like newspaper, and I know just because I listened to you and Jim talk about how it's just like completely different. Like now that social media is around, like there's no need for these places to advertise in a paper like that. When we were there, and I'm thinking like 07, 08, Facebook was around and I think MySpace, but that they weren't like really,
yeah.
They weren't used for like advertising purposes.
No.
Then, and bars and restaurants weren't putting out, all their bands. And I feel, and I don't know if I'm just have been away from like going out for so long, but like, do places still have well, obviously pre-pandemic, did places still have bands as much as they did when like the Weekender was, super packed with, I know a bunch of people talked about the band boxes, but like, I just feel like there was so many bands then and so many well-known ones that people like, they were like, oh, I'm going there this weekend because this band is there,
Yeah. So a couple things. There's less places for bands to play, for one. That's without question. I think the bands still exist. And I mean, there's places like the V Spot who was doing entertainment every night of the week. Stage West, it used to be called the Vault. He transformed the Vault into Stage West to like specifically have a place for bands to play. The Keys had bands probably 3 or 4 times a week. There were definitely places to play. There were just less of them, right?
Yeah.
And it's just so different now. Like, I think this generation that's before us, they're just used to staying in, and it's so hard to get people out of their homes. And that's one thing, like with this pandemic, I'm really worried about, because like it was so hard to get people out of their homes prior to this. Now, for the past 10 months, not only have they been home, they've been told to stay home. And now the streaming services have like, stepped up their game. And, there's Netflix and Hulu and this, that, the other thing. And bands have been doing live streams on, the social media channels. Like everything is on this screen now. Like, and it's kind of scary.
Yeah, no, I agree. Did you watch The Social Dilemma?
I did.
Yeah, I think I fell asleep halfway through it. So I need to catch up. I'm very bad at sticking with like a show or finishing a movie. But yeah, it's scary. Like,
Real scary.
And that's really probably the reason why the Weekender, it's not printed anymore, right? They don't print anymore.
They stopped printing it right before the pandemic, and then the pandemic hit, and I think that kind of expedited the whole, like, we're not going to print this ever again.
Yeah.
And they don't even update their website anymore. And I was talking to someone there, and they feel that they still have the audience. Like the audience is still there. They just don't know how to reach them. And it's weird because like, you can't make a print product to an audience who's 21 like to 25, because that's not where they're living. That's not where they're consuming their entertainment, But I mean, I think the Weekender could have transitioned to, online. I mean, we were doing party favors. I think you probably remember that. We were doing like videos to, promote the, places to go on the weekend and things to do. And Mike and Nikki were doing, I think it was called Daily Dose.
I remember that. Oh yeah. I definitely,
so we were doing
that was cool. Yeah. I remember we did I don't know if it was a promo video for Parade Day.
Okay.
And we like, Steve like maybe interviewed all of us for it, and like somebody had like big maracas or something, and I don't know what I said, but I don't know if it wasn't the right thing we needed me to say, but you guys dubbed a guy's voice over my voice in like slow motion. So yeah, I definitely remember the parade day promo video that we, and I don't like it must have just been online, I would assume.
And that was like kind of ahead of his time to an extent. And then we were doing weekender sessions when Mike was still there. So that was probably, oh man, I can't even remember what year anymore. But those things that we filmed a guy who was in a pretty popular project. I can't even think of the name now. God, my memory is so horrible these days. It used to be so great. But we filmed this guy like on the end of a dock at Harvey's Lake, and it was well done. It was sounded quality was great. Like it was stuff that no one else was doing, especially here in an EPA. But like we did that because we were passionate about it, and the company never put money behind us to try and like they wanted us to do like go the digital route, but they were like, just go do it. And it's like, well, we need these tools to make sure
with our one digital camera
that we do it right
pass around the office to do the look what you missed.
Yeah and that's the problem with I feel like media companies, specifically newspapers, and I guess I'll say that now that I'm leaving, I just feel like they constantly live in the fear of loss. It's they're just constantly scared of losing things instead of looking towards the future and figuring out a better plan.
Yeah.
And I'm not sitting here saying I have all the answers, because I don't. Because if I did, I'd probably be a millionaire. But it's just my opinion.
Yeah.
But
yeah, I haven't read a newspaper, and I mean, I read online, but my mom still gets a newspaper. I'll look at it when I'm at her house sometimes, but it's just crazy. Like, remember some of the weekenders being like 100 and some pages. And then I remember the last time I saw one, I think it was like 10.
Yeah, it sucks to see what it's become. Because like you said, I mean, there was one point we were adding, like, I think the most we could ever print was like 96 pages.
Oh, was it? I thought
no,
it was
one
over.
one time we actually had to add pages to it to because I don't know what
I feel like I remember that.
We sold something. Maybe you were there for that. I mean,
yeah, it's funny. So on the other huge map thing, there's a giant Tinks ad that was like, and I remember being like super pumped about this because like that was like a lot of money, so it was a good commission.
Yeah.
But I don't know if you remember, like Tinks had closed like all of a sudden, and then somebody bought it really quickly and opened it for Parade Day. So like nobody even knew that Tinks was going to be opened, and all of a sudden it was open, but it was like just very, I think, very bare. Or no, they had it decorated and stuff, but it was like very quickly they opened it.
Right. It's smart. I mean, a lot of those places in downtown Scranton would make their mortgage payment for the year in one day. And that was back in the day, though. Like every year that went by, the bars would like make less money than the previous year. And I don't know if it was because, and they stopped doing cover charges because just to get more people in. It was weird. Like just the kids now, like I think they're very health conscious. Like they don't drink like we used to drink. They don't have fun like we had fun. Like I don't know. Not that you have to be drinking to have fun, but there's times. There's times like parade day. Like go out and have a good time. Like
Yeah, I mean, I don't work with a ton of students at the U, because I'm in the alumni and development office, but we have like student callers and we have events and stuff. And I don't think, at least college students at the university, like they don't go downtown a lot. I don't think they stay like up in the hill section. There's like 2 bars. I think one of them might've closed. Like there was Oscars and Cockeyes, and that's like the 2 places they all go to. But yeah, like the students that like we would have like grad assistants, and I would always be like, well, where's like the cool places to go now? And they would go to Backyard Ale House, but I don't think they were. Other than that, I don't think they really went downtown a lot.
And the thing is, too, they have Uber now. Like we had to worry about like not drinking too much so we could drive home, or we're thinking about who's going to take us home. We
Yeah.
have Uber now. Like, you can go wherever you want.
Yeah. Yeah. We took an Uber not too long ago, and it was like the guy had like a shower curtain taped
really?
up in between the seats. I feel like we went to it. We had a wedding, or no, an engagement party. That's what it was, in like maybe October. And yeah, and it was like completely closed off.
Yeah.
So that was weird, but I mean, people are still Ubering, I guess.
Yeah, I haven't been in Uber. I really don't. I haven't been out since before this all happened.
Yeah, I know.
It's almost a year now. Can you believe that?
I know. Like, I've been working from home since March 12th. I think they canceled Scranton Parade Day like maybe a few days before that. And then we at the university, we have a huge event that Friday night before Parade Day called Shamrock and Eve, where alumni from the past 10 years all come back for that one night and go to the parade the next day. And we had to cancel it I think just a few days before. And all these people had paid up front to come. So we kind of like spun it into a fundraiser, like, hey, we'll give you your money back, or you can donate it to here. And we made like a quick video, and we ended up raising like a good amount of money for this program that helps. It's called Seed in El Salvador. And it's like it helps this community in El Salvador. It was a really great video that we put together really quick. So we pivoted from it, but it's like,
I hate that word.
I know. I feel like it's overused in the pandemic.
It's overused.
Sorry.
It's okay.
The new norm.
The new norm. You want to talk about something that's overused?
What's that?
Fucking Bernie Sanders.
I didn't hear the first part of what you said.
You know what's overused?
Oh my God. I know, today.
Oh my God. I mean, it was funny yesterday when it first happened. Like, there was like funny captions, like they were put in funny places, but then today, he was just everywhere. Like, but they weren't even like well done. Like,
I saw them at Knoebels. Like,
they were kind of well done, but like, there's an app now or a website you can just like type in like, I put in my address, and like he was like, sit outside my house. It's amazing. It's amazing. The internet's an amazing place, but also scary. But I'm sorry. Yeah, you were saying, you guys kind of.
Yeah. So now we're coming up on that event again this year, and it's like, can we do it? We don't know.
Well, it is January 21st, and today the Pittston Parade was canceled officially.
Has Wilkes-Barre and Scranton canceled theirs too?
They have not officially, but I've heard some things. And I just don't see. I mean, if Pittston canceled theirs, which is smaller than the Scranton Parade, I mean, I just don't see how it happens.
Yeah, it makes, and I'm sure you feel the same way. Like, not being able to do all these things with your son. Like, now that they're like a fun age, they're like, your son is what, 3? He's just turned 3?
He just turned 3 in December. Yours is turning 3 in April, right?
April, yeah, and like not being able to bring him to a St. Patrick's Day parade, and like. We didn't go to the beach over the summer. Like, it sucks not being able to do all these like first things. And now that they like know what's going on, Yeah,
it just popped up. We took Lincoln to Disney on Ice last January. It was like a year ago, yesterday or the day before.
Yeah.
And like he had a great time. But like it was just kind of like, he was there and lights and blah, blah, blah. Like, this year he would have had a blast. Like, he would have known like characters and all that kind of stuff. Like, and I saw that. I'm like, this sucks.
Yeah, we went to Monster Jam down at the arena in February of last year. And same thing. Like, he loved it, but like, he didn't quite, and like now he asks, like, I want to go, when he sees it like on TV, he's like, I want to go there. And I'm like, oh, we can't. Yeah,
we were supposed to go to Disney in April of last year. And then we postponed it to October just in case things were, normal.
Yeah.
Obviously it wasn't. So, but like before that, we would watch Lion King or whatever. And before it starts, the whole Disney castle thing pops up, and my wife would be like, oh, we're going to go there. And so we got to the point where he's like, can we go there? And it's like, shit, one day.
Oh, I know.
One day.
I know. Yeah. I don't know if you ever have taken him to Steamtown, like where the trains are.
We went there
outside, which is nice.
Okay.
So that's like my when we need to get out of the house for a couple hours, like we'll go walk around Steamtown, go, and the trolley museum is good because there's usually nobody in there.
That's good to
When
know.
I've been there at least, but it's something to do to get out of the house with them.
Yeah, we went on a train ride with Santa Claus, not this past year, with
Yeah.
that down that way.
Yeah.
But yeah. So you're married and have a kid,
Yeah.
and you've been working
You
from
are
home.
too.
I know. So we're old and we have children, and
Yeah.
but you've been working from home since March, like so.
It's March 12th. Yes. So.
I always thought, like, women want to be a stay-at-home mom until they're a stay-at-home mom.
Yes.
But more than ever, moms are not only and dads too, but like, moms are home and they're working. So it's like they're taking care of children and they're also working their jobs. Like, how difficult has that been?
Yeah, and I've had this conversation with, I think with my coworkers, a couple of my coworkers, with my husband, like, I'm home. So I feel like, I want to get the laundry done. I want to cook dinner every day. I want to get all this stuff done. But then I also have work to do that, like, and so at the beginning of the pandemic, my mom came and stayed with us for a couple months. And so she would kind of help out when I needed to like have an hour or two of writing or have like a longer conference call. And then maybe so now my son goes to my mom's house 2 days a week. My mother-in-law is 2 days a week. So he's not with me 24/7 like he was in the beginning, because It was very difficult to work even with my mom here, my husband being here, like, I don't know if your son is around your computer at all. Like, as soon as the computer's out, like, he wants to play on it, like with the buttons. And I'm like, I need to write.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's definitely been difficult. And like trying to find the balance of like, okay, I need to get my work done, but I also want to like make dinner. And like, I'm not a stay-at-home mom. I'm working full time. So like, where's the balance? And then like, sometimes I'll have my computer out at night doing stuff. And it's like, and I've talked about this with my coworkers, like, you don't really have work hours now. Like, it's just kind of working whenever you can get stuff done. I also and I think I mentioned this a little bit earlier, my husband, myself, and one of his friends, we started a nonprofit that helps veterans in Scranton. So a lot of times I'm working on stuff for that. And we actually just got chosen through, it's called Carry the Load. It's like a national organization that honors fallen veterans, specifically around Memorial Day. And they pick national nonprofit partners. And they picked, I think, 30 this year. And we were one of them that got chosen. So it's definitely going to be a lot of work to keep up that partnership. But they do some really cool stuff that's going to help us do a lot of fundraising for our organization. And again, even with the nonprofit, it's like, a lot of it is like busy work. And I'm like, I don't have time for this. But then you see the results of the people that you're helping. We got a letter from a man that we helped move for a new job that said, like, we literally saved his life. He didn't have money anywhere. And, you realize how many veterans really fall through the cracks with things that the VA can't help them with. Like getting an adaptive ramp for their house. Like, they don't have the money for that. We just got a request for assistance today for somebody who needs help with groceries. So like I've been running the Price Shopper and buying grocery gift cards and just mailing them out to people who need help. So it's definitely, it started out me just helping them out. They were veterans. They wanted to do some stuff to help veterans. And now it's like, it's more than that now, and we've helped so many people and we've raised a ton of money. I think last year we raised over $50,000 and we paid out I think a little bit more than that in donations last year too. And I think it was a really hard year for everybody. And the fact that we were able to help some veterans, with mortgage payments, some families that needed help with groceries, it was good. And I hope that this partnership with this national organization will help us do a little bit more.
That's great. And is there a reason, and I think I know the answer, but I'll let you say it, why your husband is so involved with that, and you as well, but
yeah. Yeah, so my husband is a veteran. He was in the Army for 4 years. And so when he came back to Scranton in 2007, he went to school for business. And then I'm just trying to think of the timeline here. And then he went to mortuary school. So he is a funeral director. And being that he was a veteran, he wanted to do something locally to help people around here because he saw the need. He witnessed it firsthand when you get out of the military, you're in the military one day and you're a civilian the next day, and there's no guide as to what you do next. And a lot of veterans will apply for disability, and several years ago it was sometimes a year before they would get any response on their disability claims. So like just in the meantime of helping people where I feel like it's not in the like as mainstream to that people know that there is a lot of I feel like there's a lot of help for veterans out there. It's advertised and it's like something that people talk about, but they don't talk about the need that a lot of veterans don't get fulfilled through the VA. Like off the top of my head, I could think of this veteran who's an elderly veteran. He had cancer. He got a bill for his ambulance ride to the hospital that was like 3 blocks away. And he didn't have the money to pay. A lot of veterans lived on fixed incomes and he didn't have the money to pay for that. So, you know, my husband, in dealing with a lot of funerals and a lot of veterans, specifically, he sees a lot of the needs that these people have. And I think that him and our other co-founder, Sean, he is also a veteran. They saw a lot of the need of these veterans that fall through the cracks that don't have the assistance that they need for, things, like I said, like as small as groceries.
Yeah, I think it's amazing. And I don't want to talk too much about it because I don't know enough about it. So shame on me, but
Okay.
I feel like we fail our veterans every day.
Absolutely.
And I don't know how it's how, you know, back when we were in high school and before that, it was you know, serve your country. It's an extreme honor and you'll be kind of set for life or however it was kind of worded. But was that wrong? I don't know.
Yeah. I think that, and I mean, this is just my opinion. I think that the VA almost doesn't have the capacity to deal with the
Right.
amount of veterans that come and go through there. I can't speak to it. My husband could probably speak. That's a different podcast for you. I think he could probably speak to that a little bit
Sure.
better than I can. But there's definitely a need for people. And we work closely with the Lackawanna County Director of Veterans Affairs, and he deals with. I can't even imagine how he does. Like he deals with crises. Is that the right word?
I don't know.
Every day, like trying to find a veteran a house.
Yeah.
It's just like somewhere to live, or getting them in a hotel until they can transition into something else. It's just, and I feel like being a part of this organization now, like I feel as though prior to this, and especially because my husband is a veteran too, I think I was very naive about you know and just any like worldly things before, there's been a war going on for all
Yeah.
these years, and I never really thought anything about it, but like seeing firsthand that veterans really need help, I think is something that a lot of people don't think about until it's right in front of them
Right. And
too.
I think
So
we're all guilty of that. Yeah,
yeah.
for sure. I definitely don't know enough about it. So if he wants to talk about that, I would love to, if he wants to, by all
Oh
means,
yeah,
let him know.
he definitely would. Especially with the Fight for Vets, the organization that we run. I'm sure he'd love to talk about
Yeah.
everything.
That's what I want this to be outside of just us, reminiscing about, weekender days. I want this to be a platform for people to utilize I'm not sitting here saying I have this, massive network of people, but,
Yeah, no,
I hope to build it to that point where people your husband could join me and reach a lot of people and and create awareness, because that's what's wrong, I think, is people just don't know about things.
Yeah.
I'm guilty of it too.
Yeah, and I mean, we've had like great support from not only our friends and our family and people in the area. Like it started with, and you had mentioned the vault. This all started at the vault with my husband and his friend Sean being the veterans, and Steve, the owner of the vault, and I think a couple other people that worked there doing like the first outdoor boxing that Scranton has had since like the 90s. So it started out as just being like this little event, and then that was in 2015, I think. And now it's like we're just pulling in donations through Facebook right now. We haven't even had an event in a year. We usually have a golf tournament where we get a lot of our funds from, which we weren't able to have this year. We didn't have a fight this year, which that's one of our main events. We've done the boxing matches. I think we did 3 or 4 years. I can't remember. But yeah, we haven't had, so we've been just relying on Facebook to do fundraisers. Just recently we did a fundraiser for a local kid, like in his 20s, who has stage 3 colon cancer, and we raised like $15,000 for him. And like the great thing is there's no fees through donating through our Facebook page. So all that money went right to him, which was great. So.
Do you think anything you've done at the Weekender helped prepare you for your current job, as well as fundraising for our veterans?
Oh yeah, I mean, I think the Weekender, definitely, like being in the business of dealing with like bar owners, I think that definitely
they're nuts.
Gives you some interpersonal skills. Is that
I think that's
the
right.
right thing to use?
So. They're nuts. They're nuts.
Yeah, and like having to pick up money from, I remember do you remember the castle in North Scranton?
No.
It was like super sketchy. Like I think it got shut down because there was like too many bad things that happened there. I remember sitting in the parking lot, like in my car, and like opening the window a crack and being like, thank you, like taking money from them. And looking back, I'm like, that was probably like, I was in like it was like an empty car lot or something. I was picking up money in, like, so I think, just dealing with, I mean, business, obviously business owners are passionate about their business. So, people wanting to be on the second page of the Weekender and kind of talking them like out of that, and negotiating skills, I think. And that's one thing with my job now. Like I remember this was a couple years ago. We had some type of weird client, I guess you would say, that this was at an old job. And somebody's like, you're really good at dealing with like weird people and like letting them down easy. Weekender. So I think that definitely, that's a Weekender skill. So,
did you have any of the back page ads?
I did. Yeah. Yes. Yeah, I still remember. It was called A Lady in Stockings and Heels. Yeah.
Oh God.
I wonder if she's still around.
I don't know. I mean, their business has to have suffered in a pandemic.
Yeah, I never met the lady in stocking and heels. I think they must have mailed a check or something, because I did not know where the stockings and heels were.
I will never forget the moment. There was two moments in my career at the Weekender. There was a place, I can't remember the name of the business, but it was right next to it was the Hideaway. It was called the Hideaway. The Hideaway initially was like 2 double wide trailers like combined.
I feel like I remember this, going to pick up money with somebody there.
Maybe. It has since they built a nice facility that, I haven't been there in a long time, but they were one of my accounts. But next to it was like a massage place. And this woman came out, and to pay me, I drove to like Nanacoke to get the money. And a lot of them dealt with cash. Like you had to go pick it up.
Oh yeah.
But she reached down in her boot. I mean, I guess there's worse places it could have been, but like I just remember digging down in her boot and just pulling out money. I'm like,
I feel like I remember this.
God. I don't remember when it was, but yeah, I was like, oh, that's terrible. And then there was a place on River Street in Plains no longer there. But like they welcomed me in, and I had to wait for them. But they like I don't know if they lived there or what, but they had like cabbage. They had cabbage in like strainers. I don't I don't know. I don't understand what they were
They don't
doing.
like to eat it, or
I don't
like
know if they were making like something. I don't know, but there was cabbage. It was such bizarre, so bizarre. I was telling Jane, I'm kind
I'm
of
sure
like,
it smelled horrible
oh,
in
it was
there.
terrible, terrible. It's like cabbage. It's like,
Sorry,
how are you doing
dog's
business?
having a little episode. Oh, she's coming over.
Give her a pet. But yeah, those were interesting people and bar owners, man. Like, there's a lot of bar owners that are like really smart business people. The V Spot runs a tight ship. They do really well. Beer Boys.
Is that
Uh,
that's still open?
yeah, Beer Boys is open. I mean, they've expanded.
I haven't been down to Wilkes-Barre.
Yeah, they've expanded.
My good friend has an apartment building down there. We went down. This was before I had my son, so this is years ago. We went to that Franklin's,
Yeah.
which is nice.
Yep.
And we went out to some other small little bar on a side street, and I don't even remember what it was called.
Yeah.
Donahue's?
There was Sanunas. There was a Donahue's like down the street, down on South Main Street.
I think that must have been it. It was like super tiny.
Yeah, that was a while ago. But so some like run like good business. Like Beer Boys has since expanded, like they have a nice outside patio and stuff.
Where is Beer? Is that by King's?
Yeah, it's like on North Washington Street, which is like behind King's. Like,
yeah, I can't picture it.
Yeah. But they do like, I mean, it's well run. Like they know where the money's going. But I remember there's some bars back in the day, like they were just a nightmare to deal with. I mean, it was, hey, I'll pay you tomorrow. Can I add run without paying you now?
Oh yes, I remember that.
And it's like, it's hoping and praying that they actually pay you, But
yeah, I remember some of the, I don't know what back page ad it was, but they would come in and pay cash, and like nobody would want to go take the cash from them.
It's weird.
Crazy.
Weird. Strange. But what a place. What a place.
Okay, now my dogs are just being annoying. The other one's here to get pet. Like, no.
Oh boy. You have multiple? You have two?
Two, yeah. Yeah, two boxers, and we had another one, but he passed away last year.
Oh, I'm sorry.
So he was old. He had one eye. So my husband got him when he was stationed down in Savannah. So we always had like, he had a Southern accent. But like that dog, if that dog could talk, like he had seen it all.
How did you and your husband meet?
So we actually met when we were in 8th grade.
Okay.
Yeah. So he went to West Granton High School and I went to Riverside. So we didn't go to high school together, and we met. So you wouldn't know this because you live down in Wilkes-Barre. Like this in front of the Steam Town Mall was like the place to hang out when you were apparently in 8th grade. Okay. And he came up to me, and he tells the story way better than I do. He says his friends want to know if he could have my number. And that was what he had asked me. And I gave it to him, and like we talked on the phone all the time, because like that was like the cool thing to do when you were like in 8th grade. And I don't know, we probably talked on AOL on like dial-up internet.
Yeah.
But yeah, so we hung out a lot when we were in high school. And then he joined the military, and I was at Wilkes, and we randomly, what year was it? So it was 2009. We saw each other at Panera Bread, and we had lunch together, and we were together every day after that. So
just like that.
Yeah. And now I'm always like, let's go eat at Panera. He's like, I hate the food there. I'm like, well, good thing you were eating there that day,
Yeah, right.
That's so when did you and Amanda, I feel like you guys were together when I was, or maybe I was like still hanging out with everybody from the Weekender. I feel like I remember you guys being together.
Yeah, we met. Well, actually, I met her in like 2006. She was a model of the week.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Oh yeah. But so I met her then. But she had a boyfriend at the time, and she was one of those girls. I'm like, so I always thought she was like, I'll tell this to her face, and till the day I die. Like I said, she was like stuck up because she's beautiful, and she also is very shy. So she wasn't very like vocal. So she came in for a picture or whatever, and Steve took the photo too. But like she just didn't really talk. Like so, I was like, oh, this girl's hot, and she knows it, right? Also, had a boyfriend though too. This is in '06. I remember the model of the year party that year. We had actually come across her. She was outside, outside Evolution by herself. And like Steve and I, like, are you good? And she's like, yeah, like my boyfriend or whatever is down at the bar downstairs drinking. She wasn't 21 at the time. And so a year later, was it a year later? She may have been model again. I forget how it all went down, but 2008 is when we started talking. It was funny because I don't know if I messaged her on MySpace. I have the whole conversation printed out because we always like argue about like, I always say she fell into my trap and she says that I fell into hers, but like, I think I had been drinking one night and I just shot her a message, and that's kind of how it started. And then I just didn't think she was like interested. So we stopped talking. I remember I texted her on like Valentine's Day because Tinks was hosting a Shred Your X party in conjunction with 97.9X. And I remember I texted her saying, oh, if you're looking for something to do on Valentine's Day, you can go to this party, because I knew she had broken up with her boyfriend. And like, I don't know what she said to that. I didn't feel like
that was a good way in.
Yeah. So that was just like, that was me like throwing a line out there. Right. And like, in my mind, it wasn't really feeling like she was like at all interested in whatever. So like I stopped talking to her. So a month goes by. I'm on a bus to Boston to go to Boston for St. Patty's Day. And I started drinking. We started drinking early in the morning, and I think I shot her a text, and I forget why, and I don't even know what I said to her, but I said something to her. I shot her a text, and she responded, and like I was like, "Oh shit!" Like maybe she is interested. Like, so I went to Boston, came back, and like a week or two after I got back from Boston, we started hanging out. That was like late March of 2008. I think we started.
Yeah, so I was definitely at the weekend.
Yeah, we made it official.
I knew I remembered you guys like being together.
Yeah, I made it official April 5th, 2008.
Oh, wow.
So we're coming up on 13 years.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. It's crazy.
It is. I can't believe it's been that long.
Yeah, it's crazy. And everyone's like, dude, you like way out of your league. I'm like, yo, I know, but like, leave the fuck alone.
I was laughing. I think it was Jane, when Jane was telling you that. I was laughing because I mean, Amanda is stunning.
Yeah, way out of my league. You know what I say to that? Nice guys finish first. What can I say? I had some buddies that started a podcast. They were doing theirs, and they were. I got brought up, and they just started ripping on me about how she's like way out of my league and Stockholm syndrome, and I'm like, you assholes.
That's funny.
Yeah. So 13 years later, we have a beautiful son. Everything's good.
Yeah, once we could do something again, we could get. They're like right around the same age.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah,
I'm like dying to take him to a Rail Riders game. Like we missed out on that last year.
Anything, right?
I know.
Like there's so much, and it's like, I mean, there's still stuff you can do. I just talked to a kid the other day. He wrote a book about dinosaurs, and my son, I don't know what your son's into, but my son is like,
yes, he loves dinosaurs.
Everything dinosaurs. And it's so funny story. We were walking, I think we were in Target, walking down the toy aisle, and he sees this dinosaur, right? And the name is written across the bottom of the dinosaur, the box. Mm-hmm. He can't read, obviously, but he says that's what it is.
What? So this is so funny that you said this because my son is obsessed with dinosaurs too, and he like the one day he just said pterodactyl out of nowhere, and I was like, "Is that the one your son knew? Is it pterodactyl?"
No,
It
no.
was like a weird one.
It was I could not pronounce it if I was looking at it trying to pronounce it.
That's
Like,
so funny.
it's crazy.
Yeah, I don't know why. Like, what is it with dinosaurs that
I
kids
don't know.
like? They don't even. Do they realize? Like, do they realize they're never going to see a real dinosaur? Probably not.
I don't know. I don't know. The so I assume that he's close to my son's age. So like Christmas this year was probably pretty decent as far as
Yeah.
like understanding it, right? This was like I'll probably tear up talking about it, but he because I remember like myself doing the same exact thing. So like we were at my mom's house. It was a very small gathering, so don't come after me. But he got a I think it was a velociraptor dinosaur something, and he had a bunch of presents, right? But he got this one and he wouldn't let it go. He kept holding on to it. He was very like, I'll wait my turn for the next gift. He was just so well behaved. I was just so impressed and so happy that he's just so like just cool. But he just held on to this dinosaur because he didn't want to let it out of his sight. Like he's just like, this is the gift. This is the gift of all gifts. And it wasn't
Oh,
like anything crazy, but like he just held on to it like the
yeah.
whole night. And I just remember, me being a kid and having those moments where I got this cool gift. I'm like, this is the
Yeah.
best.
And you brought it everywhere with you. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. It's so great. I mean, I wish that we would have done it earlier. But my wife was in school forever
Yeah.
for starters. And then when we first started talking about kids, like I was always like, if I have kids, I have kids. If not, that's cool too.
Yeah.
But I remember we were sitting outside of a friend's house, like about to go into the party. We had a blast. Like we would go everywhere. We would do everything we wanted to. We had a lot of fun together. And it's like, do we want to give this up? And she says, you know what? I don't want to give this up. But when we're 60, we'll be saying, man, I wish we had kids. And I said, you're right.
Yeah, I definitely agree with that. Yeah.
So yeah. So, we've had some issues having another one. But it's part of life, I guess.
Yeah, yeah, I know. Life is just, I mean, this whole pandemic and everything on top of that. And I know, you had talked a little bit on your other podcast about it, but like, so when the pandemic started on the 12th or 13th of March, I was pregnant. And I think it was April 1st. So like this was when we thought we were getting COVID from mail. Like,
Right.
Everybody was crazy. And like, I didn't leave my house for 19 days. Like I would go outside and that was it. And then April 1st, I went for an ultrasound and we had found out that we lost the baby and I was 23 weeks pregnant. So
Wow.
I had to go to the hospital and give birth. Like it was horrible on top of everything else, so
I'm sorry.
It's crazy to hear how many people have issues and problems and, just don't talk about it, I guess.
Well, that's the problem. And like, I don't like bringing it up for
Yeah. I do not talk, like I've not talked about it with a lot of people. And I feel like a lot of people don't want to bring it up, I think, because it's just something sad. But I know like you had been pretty open about talking about it in past ones. So I was like, I should talk about this,
You definitely should, Bridget. Seriously. I mean, there's a stigma and especially for women. Because 100 years ago or however
Gosh, there's a cat fight outside of my house right now.
Don't these cats know that we're talking deeply about deep?
Oh my gosh. Yeah, topics? No, sorry. I was like, what the heck is that? Sorry. So sorry to interrupt.
No. I mean, for women, especially like years and years ago, like you guys were, you weren't meant for one thing, but like, I feel like women were, they felt like they were here for one reason, and that was to reproduce and have children and all that kind of stuff. It's obviously a different world today, but that has continued on. And I feel like women think that if they can't do that for whatever reason, that they're a failure, or um, there's a ton of different things behind it. And it's unfortunate. And I always say, like, if we don't talk about it, we're not going to, move forward, with this situation and overcoming that. I mean, it shouldn't be something that's kept to yourselves. It's a
I
terrible
definitely.
moment. It's so sad. It's so,
Yeah.
and you feel so alone, right? And I feel like an
Yeah.
asshole because I'm a male who I can't have a child, right? Talking about it. So it's like, who the fuck am I, right? But
No, I don't think so. I mean, just because it didn't happen, it still happened to you. It just didn't happen. It happened to like that impacts your whole life.
Yeah. So she was pregnant. So the second loss we experienced was around the same time you did. She wasn't as far along, but it was St. Patty's Day when she miscarried. Yeah. So right around. So that was the second one. And then this third one was the most devastating, which is I can't imagine like at your level, because that's 23 weeks is a long time.
Yeah, I mean, but I don't think that makes that hurt any less.
No, but I mean, yeah, for us, we saw 2 ultrasounds and we saw the heartbeat. This is the third one we were going to hear it, and there was nothing there. So you were even past that. It's just.
Yeah. And I was by myself at the doctor too, because you couldn't bring anybody at that point. So but I mean, luckily my doctor called my husband Andy and got him there quickly. So that was just good. On top of like the whole COVID and anything, like scared to even go to the hospital, you know what I mean? Let alone have to be there for, a couple of days. So.
Yeah, I'm sorry you guys went through that. That's.
Yeah, I mean, and I'm sorry that you guys did too. It sucks. I mean, there's no easy words to say about it, I don't think. No,
I encourage anyone to talk about anything they're going through. I mean, life is so short and so complicated. It's so, and I don't know how your parents are, but like my parents, like my mom's tough. My dad's no longer here with us. I don't know how he really would be. But I mean, their generation was like, just pick yourself up and dust yourself off and keep moving. And I mean, that's good to an extent, I think. But you can't bury those feelings. It's just strange. It's. But I think our lives are more complex in that there's so much more going on. Like our parents didn't have social media. Our parents, they worked.
It all goes back to social media.
But I mean, they worked 9 to 5 jobs and they came home for the most part. I mean, not everyone, but I mean, we're so accessible now, whether it's through work and emails or social media or whatever. It is. Life is complicated.
That it is, especially when you're pretty much cooped up in your house for almost a year. You know,
that doesn't help.
That's like some days I'm like, I just need an adult to talk to. Well, even some days I hate like the fact that I'm here doing work all by myself all day, and I'm like, like that's why like something like this to like have an adult conversation with somebody, like my husband's here right now. I could talk to him, but this is different. I haven't talked to you in 14 years.
It's been a long time.
And I think this is a fun idea, talking to everybody that's been at the weekend, or seeing where everybody is now. I think it's fun.
Well, it's night and day.
Definitely.
It's night and day, right? It's night and day.
Oh yeah. It's literally a lifetime ago.
Yeah. Like our lives are a complete 180 from where they were.
Oh, absolutely.
And I'm so happy. Like there's not like, I don't think there's like one person like that worked at the Weekender who is not doing well today. Like, and that makes that fills my heart with so much joy just to see the people that I, was first introduced to, in my career doing well and, happy and, married, or, as you heard from Jane, she's on her way to, whatever she's going through. But I mean, there's still good things in life, and no matter what bad things come, but for the most part, we're all happy. We're all doing well, and that's
Yeah, and
good to see.
I think the silver lining of, despite how shitty everything has been lately, is, my mom came and stayed with me and my husband and our son for, 4 or 5 months. And that's time that I never would have regularly spent with her, in her time she wouldn't have spent with our son. And, being with my son, pretty much 24/7 for so many months. And I mean, I'm sure, like the days, when they say the days are long, some of those days are long. But the silver lining of it is, when I feel like I'm going to look back and miss this time that I was able to spend so much time with him, and like just being super fortunate, and that, I still have my job. My husband still has his job, and, we're able to be okay despite everything else that's wrong in the world, just trying to see the silver lining of everything else, I think, in it.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. I mean, it's definitely a moment in time where we have to cherish with our family, that we get to be with them more. I was fortunate because my wife was still going to work every other day. So I was home every day and she was home every other day. And thank God, because I don't know if I could have done it myself every day. I mean,
yeah, that's why I was very lucky to have my mom here for as many months as she was. And, my husband was crazy busy for a while being a funeral director. And, and I said earlier, like, that's why I just thought we were going to get COVID earlier, being that, he was embalming COVID cases right up in the beginning, and nobody really knew at that point, like, can you get it from somebody that is deceased? Like, I don't know. And he knows the science behind that. I'm not even going to try to talk about it. But yeah, it's interesting. Like, it's definitely interesting. Like, I've been helping out and doing like the live stream videos of funerals for people who either can't have their family that are far away, or, like a few weeks ago, I don't know if you saw, like, Scranton Santa died, like Santa Lou.
Yeah.
So, we live streamed that, and, if it wasn't the pandemic, I feel like, a lot more people, it was really nice because a lot of people showed up outside the church with Santa hats on, but just like seeing, and that's another thing, like, that I feel so fortunate about, like, seeing all these people that have to have their loved ones pass away, and they can't have, the big service that typically people do have.
Right.
But, they've been able to adjust at the funeral home and figure things out and work through it. Like, there's different regulations all the time. And again, if you talk to him, he could tell you more about it. But,
yeah, please, by all means, like, let him know that I would love to talk to him just about.
Yeah, he's here somewhere. He might be laying on the couch. I don't, and behind, like, right behind me. I don't even know where he is. Actually, we're remodeling our basement, so he's probably
nice.
He's probably down there. That's why usually I would be in my little office, but I'm in my kitchen right now. So, that's been like our pandemic project.
Nice. That's what a lot of people have been doing. They're home and lifting up carpets and finding a lot of dirt and saying, we gotta clean this up.
Oh my gosh, we literally just ripped up a carpet. And I was like, this is disgusting.
That was what is it? Analogy? But yeah.
No, but literally just did that.
That's funny. But, well, I took up a lot of your time. I do appreciate you doing this. It's been an absolute joy talking to you over, it's been 14 years. So
yeah, I know. It's
I'm
crazy.
so glad you're doing well.
When all this is over, I think Rachel had posted on somebody's podcast, like, we all have to get together, because would be so much fun.
It would be. I wanted, with the first episode, I'm like, we should do like this. Hopefully, we're not still locked in our homes or, social distancing, but it'd be cool to have everyone back and do like a big Zoom call. But again, I think that would be chaos. I mean, there's two of us now, right? And there's times where we talk over each other, and not even on purpose, but just because, like, there's a lag almost. So yeah, I don't know how that would go, but I would rather see you all in person anyways.
Yeah, that would be, I think, once the pandemic's over, and so how many people do you have left to do from the weekend?
I have tons. Like, and that's what was cool about this when I was putting it together. It was like, one thing I wanted to ask you, were you part of the Pioneers team?
Yeah. So the promo team.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I thought so. I couldn't remember for sure.
Yeah. I think when was that? So I think that was this. Was that in the summer? Was their league in the summer?
I think
Or
07,
was
yeah.
okay, yeah. So it was the summer after I was an intern
Yeah.
and the summer before I was an employee. Yeah. So I was on the promo team. So we would like throw out footballs on the field, do like games with people in the stands. That
Yeah.
was fun. We didn't get paid or anything, which like thinking back, I'm like, why did I do that and not get paid?
You were young and naive and you just
God.
wanted to, pay your dues, right? No, but I've got tons like Joe, people that you were even before you, like Joe Student and obviously Mike G, Nikki Mascali, Janelle Price, Christina Dugan. She was before your time. Katie Gross was a little bit before you. Damian Pick was before you. Rachel Pugh, obviously. I'm going to save her for last. And there's even more on this list that,
I was dying over the story that Jane told about that at the casino when Rachel had to host I remember that. So that was like, I don't know what we did, Battle of the Bartenders, and it was like a complete flop.
yes.
I remember
yes,
being there.
I wasn't there. Yeah, but yeah, you're right.
It was terrible. There was like 3 bartenders that showed up,
yes.
and we were like, "Oh, I guess you guys all win." But I remember that. Yes. I remember leaving, and I don't know, like for whatever reason, I didn't drink that day, and I was like, I gotta get out of here. Things are getting out of control. And I remember going home. It was like it was like,
yeah, middle of the day.
Yeah.
Oh, that's fucking awesome. That's awesome.
But yeah, I think Rachel's will be really good.
Oh yeah, I mean, she was there she may have been at least 9 years, and I was there for 9 years. So she's got, I'm sure, stories before I was there, and there's a lot of history there, just in general.
I remember one time there was a bar owner that was like super mean to me, and I won't say who they are. And I called her, and she called the bar owner and like flipped out on them for being mean to me. And I remember they called and apologized to me.
One thing about Rachel Pugh that I will never take away from her, she always had our backs.
Oh, definitely.
Even if we were wrong, she had our backs. And, it's one of those things where we had those jobs. I mean, I was young. I was 22 when I got just turning 23, maybe. I mean, I was young and I was, partying and having a great time. And I wouldn't. So if I had a different job, I probably wouldn't have done those things because I would have been more responsible. But like the Weekender gave me enough leeway where like I could have a lot of fun. And if I screwed up, I'd at least get a warning, so to speak. So like, I mean, Rachel was she always had our backs, and she was always our number one fan. And
yeah, definitely.
She's texted me, after seeing some of these and, saying like, oh, I wish I would have done this differently. And, I didn't know so-and-so felt that way about this, or, has regrets about certain things like all of us do with life. And, but yeah, she was great.
Yeah. I haven't seen her in years. I randomly saw her at a Rail Riders game right after my son was like a newborn. So this is like 3 years ago. For like a second, I didn't even like really get to talk to her. And other than that, I probably haven't seen her since the Weekender.
I think she has like 10 cats now.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, I'm friends with her on Facebook, so yeah. I feel like I see the cats. Don't know their names. Like I knew your cat's name, but
I don't know how you knew the cat's name.
I don't know how I remember that.
I'm kind of worried about that now.
You must have had like a picture or something.
Oh, I definitely did.
With its name on it or something.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. It's just funny. Now I'm kind of concerned that like I had an issue. Like, why am I talking about my cat?
Like a weird cat that rather than the cat lady, or that you were the cat guy.
I love that cat though.
I can't believe. I mean, that's great that it's still alive. I just can't believe that.
I can't either. But like I had we just moved into a new house back in August, and I got some furniture for the basement because like it's a little bigger than the house we had prior, so we didn't have like stuff to furnish the basement. So we got like a couch and a chair off of Facebook Marketplace. And it's like it's all covered right now with sheets because the cat just lays on it, destroys it, and it makes me angry. I don't ever like want to come down here and enjoy myself. And there's like a nice bar down here. I have a TV mounted on the wall. It's like a man cave for real. It's something I always freaking wanted. And I just have no desire to be down here because he's just a disaster. I literally can't have anything nice.
Yeah, our dogs are about the same. I've 2 nights in a row, mornings, we've come down to poop, and like, and I know something's wrong with her. It's not her fault. Like,
yeah, I know.
But it's like, come on, you haven't went to the bathroom in the house in 10 years.
Yeah, and I'll feel bad too because like, obviously your son probably knows the dogs too, and my son knows the cats, so. It's a discussion that one day that we'll have to have, and I don't want to have that.
Yeah, I know. My son loves our dogs so much. So I thought about that today when I was taking her to the vet, because I like, in my mind, I'm like, oh, this is it. Like, they're going to say she's not okay. And they come out, they're like, blood work's great. I'm like, there's something wrong. So
I guess we'll wait and see. Well, good luck with that.
Yeah. Well, I'm looking forward to getting together with everybody once this whole pandemic
that reunion will be better than my high school reunion. I guarantee it.
I don't know, where would we even do it? Like,
I don't know. We were talking about like there's Hops and Barley's, there's River Grill's, a nice space.
Whoever your sponsor is, then maybe that. So we're sponsoring you at that point.
We need to get a sponsor. The sponsor will have 50 guests, reunion. 50 previous Weekender guests, and we'll all promise to act like we acted back then. So we will drink. You will make the money back. All right. Well, go put on some lingerie.
Oh God, so embarrassing. So embarrassing.
It's all good. It's so much fun. So.
Thank you for thinking I was fun enough to be on your podcast.
Absolutely. Like I said, this is more for me than it is other people. And I hope it's great for you guys too. I wanted to have a way to document this stuff because my memory is going. It's with the kid too, especially like my mind is just full of stuff that
I know you said. And your one that I watched today, you said Blippy.
Blippy.
My son has Blippy underwear. Like, I'm like, is this creepy that there's a giant Blippy on the butt of the underwear? Is that weird?
Oh yeah, that's kind of weird. Are you aware of what Blippy did before he was Blippy? Yeah. Yeah,
weird. And then he's got underwear. Like,
yeah, my son doesn't have underwear, and actually he
has not watched. He was into it more like a couple months ago. Now he likes a couple other things on YouTube that aren't that, thank God.
He hasn't watched Blippy in a few days, so maybe he's over it, hopefully. My thing is like, how does this guy go from acting like Blippy to a normal human being?
Oh my gosh. I Googled him. He makes so much money. It's so insane. And he's a veteran too.
Is he?
Yeah. I think
really?
I think an Air Force veteran. Yeah.
I would not have.
Yeah. I would not have guessed that either.
Good for him. Good for him. Well, cool. Well, thanks again. This will get posted up on the 27th, so next Wednesday.
Okay, cool.
But yeah,
cool.
So awesome. It was great catching up with you.
Yeah, you too.
Wish you all the best. And like I said, talk to your husband if he wants to sit down and talk about like veteran stuff and kind of.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, he definitely will. Yeah.
That'd be awesome.
I'll just if you friend request him on Facebook, and then you guys can talk on Messenger.
Okay.
Or I'll have him friend request you.
That, or you just let him know that I'm interested. So.
Well, yeah, he definitely will.
Awesome.
All right. Thanks,
cool. Well,
John.
thanks. Have a great night.
Tell Amanda that I said hello. And
I will. Thank you.
I'll be thinking of you guys.
You too.
All right. Bye.
All right, see ya.